On the very first episode of America, the Conversation, America the podcast creator Tim Phillippe and political organizer and America the podcast writer Andrew Turner, aka your hosts, discuss America being 2 years removed from the January 6th insurrection on the United States Capitol building, America's newest Nazi, Mr. Ye, aka Kanye West, and whether Trumpism is fading or simply biding its time. All this and more tonight on America the Podcast presents America the Conversation. Hello and welcome to America the Conversation. I am one of your hosts, Tim Phillippe, and with me, as always, is my co-host and good old counterpart, Mr. Andrew Turner. How you doing, man?
Hi, everyone. I'm good. I'm good. The world's on fire. How about yours?
The world, yeah, you know what? It is, as of this recording, we're recording this early on in December, but it hits our first technical episode. It's our premiere. The other one was a big-ass long trailer that I decided to call a trailer, because that's how trailers work. Hour and 8 minutes, I think. That's what it
was more of a train. Like,
more
it was hauling quite a bit. Yeah,
a freight train of a lot of bullshit that we have been dealing with. And
a freight train of news is this the podcast.
There you go. And well, on our first episode, if you look at your, watch or your phone, or most of you just have phones, or just a simple calendar, it's January 6th. And we're going to be talking about being 2 years removed from January 6th, the famous, what do we call it? Our new 9/11. Is that, I think that's how the Republicans are treating it, or at least the Republicans really liked 9/11. They also liked this one too, but for different reasons.
I don't know if they liked 9/11. They liked the fact that they could expand the security state and target Muslim Americans, but
that's true. Yeah, so it worked out.
I don't think anyone besides Al Qaeda liked 9/11. Maybe a few insurance adjusters for buildings downtown, but
Donald Trump. Yeah, there you go.
I have the tallest building now. Yeah. It's the tallest.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think it was their fucking favorite holiday, the way they've held on to it for years. And the second a bigger thing happens, not a bigger thing, but definitely a almost government overthrow, they seem to not give two shits. And
I mean, they seem to be pro-coup, as long as it's Americans cooing.
Yes.
Right-wing Americans cooing.
Yeah. And fun fact, it's not really working out for them anymore. I mean,
jokes aside, it didn't work for Hitler or Mussolini the first time they did it. The beer hall push and the March to Rome were not as successful as either one of those men wanted them to be. Yet they showed up later anyway to do the things that they did. So history, the first time is a tragedy and the second time is a farce. So,
and then what's the last time?
It just keeps repeating the tragedy farce thing.
Oh. Got it.
Yeah.
So it never fizzles out into a weak fart.
I mean, I don't really have a comment on that, Tim.
Yeah. I mean, do you, America? Let us know. But I would kind of say it does, just because now, after all of this hooting and hollering about, the election was stolen, these rioters aren't terrorists, even though they totally are. Every person who supported that kind of mentality just fucking lost their midterm. So
yeah,
I'd say it's fizzling out. That was kind of the point I was trying to make, albeit saying Republicans like 9/11 along the way, and I'm going to stand by that statement.
I mean, I wish I shared your optimism. I think that I do want to say most people on January 6th, I do not think are domestic terrorists. I think that they're hogs that were riled up and were like, we're going to show who's who and march into the Capitol. And then there were people who showed up in ballistic armor and zip ties and were trying to get guns on the Capitol and were willing to assassinate people, including Mike Pence, AOC.
So just a
Nancy
small
Pelosi.
Percentage, good third of the people. A good third. Yeah, so a third of people were domestic terrorists with zip ties, shitting on Nancy Pelosi's desk. No,
none of them should have been
the senators and congresspeople.
Yeah, I mean, it was an attempt to stop them from counting the elector ballots, which I don't think would have worked anyway, but it was Trump's last-ditch attempt. And it was, like all things Trump does, half-assed and inconsequential. until, except its side effects, what he didn't intend to do.
Yeah.
I don't
you don't think he
fizzled
actually
out.
intended to do something to actually try and overthrow it all?
I think he wanted to stop the electors. I mean, I think there's a video of Roger Stone a couple of months earlier talking about their plan.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he wanted to install his own electors.
Ron Johnson too.
There was so much fraud. We can't take California's ballots. We can't take Georgia's ballots. We can't take Arizona, Nevada, and just install his own electors. But, I don't know if that ever would have actually happened. But either way, it's what he was attempting to do.
They're kind of trying that now. They're trying to give states way too much power in the Supreme Court as we speak. They're trying to maneuver it to where that state Supreme Courts can't overrule legislatures in their whole voting. How do they do it? Kind of a thing.
And especially withdrawing district maps and that kind of thing for gerrymandering. I mean, the GOP has decided that they can no longer win elections. And while the idea of crazily storming the Capitol may be fizzling out, I think the idea of rewriting our election laws because they're a minority party to continue to win, much like you see in the Midwest in a lot of states where they are winning less than 50% of the vote, but they have more than 60% of the state legislatures.
I mean, fuck, the Wisconsin governor's is it Wisconsin that the Democrat is a governor now, of all places?
I believe it's Wisconsin where, they won the governorship, but they have not won the legislature because of redistricting.
Yeah. So it's Texas.
I mean, Republicans are going to cheat because they're not going to win otherwise. Yeah. They are slowly becoming the weird party.
Speaking of
suburbanites,
flipping up the table and going home, their Lord and Savior just called for the abolishment of the Constitution, and so did Paul Gosar with a sitting congressman, right? He's a House representative. He's not a senator. No, he's a House guy. He's dumb as shit from Oklahoma. Not that Oklahoma's dumb, but you guys elected Paul Gosar, so that's on you. But they
Texas has room to talk about who we elect.
At least Oklahoma's got legal weed inexplicably, but
and not Ted Cruz.
Not Ted Cruz. You did better than Ted Cruz, and I think you got a statue of Satan on your state capitol or something because of some religious freedom thing.
That sounds like some early 2000s lib versus conservative shit.
Yeah, that.
We're going to put
Oklahoma's
up a statue of God here. Yeah, well, we're going to troll you with a statue of
Baphomet.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, regardless, they called for the abolition of the Constitution. Most Republicans said, no, don't do that. And Mike Pence, but...
I'm all for a rewrite. Don't get me wrong.
Sure, but it had to be done every 19 years, according to Thomas Jefferson.
I think that we would not agree on new amendments and what to preserve from the old.
Lord, no.
I don't know if that. What is it called? It's not a tweet. What is he on?
It's a truth. It's just a truth.
It's a truth?
Yeah, it's not a tweet. It's a truth. I had to.
I don't know if that truth was true.
Yeah.
I don't know if
all he really wants to abolish from the opinion.
Right. I mean, all he wants to abolish really is the idea that we have elections and that he can't run more than twice. I think that there's not a lot, maybe free speech in general. There's a lot of things I'm sure he'd want to crack down on, but there's no way that would happen.
No.
I say that. I
don't know. I have a lot of faith in the system in a way, at its core, because I just don't think there's enough fascists to let that happen, to go, okay, I'm ordering all the military right now to collect all the boxes. I'm I don't think there's got to be enough generals that are oh, fuck off.
I think 3% of the nation was part of the military to overthrow the British here. I think that the vast majority of people weren't Nazis in Germany.
Yeah.
I think that it all depends on who's in power and how desperate people are. I think people would turn to an authoritarian leader very easily if the economy continues to get worse. If rent keeps going up, if someone will say, "Hey, I'll fix all your problems. We just have to blame it on immigrants." They already did that with Trump. I am not confident in our systems. I have never been one who believes in guardrails that are put up because of precedent and norms and tradition.
Sure.
I think we should codify these things.
Oh,
in
yeah,
law.
absolutely. Which we did with the Equality of Marriage Act or whatever it's called.
We tried to.
No, we just did. They passed it in the
yeah,
House.
yeah. I thought you were talking about the ERA, which is in the
Oh,
70s. We had a bunch of
Yeah.
70s and 80s. We had a bunch of states, enough to ratify it in the Constitution. An
Almost.
equal rights amendment that would have given equal pay and established women as equal, and a bunch of other protected rights. But no president and Congress never, took it up, even though a bunch of states signed it in their state legislators. But in a step forward, yes, I guess that I thought we solved 8 years ago. Soon, President Biden will sign equal marriage for both interracial and same-sex marriage. So that's good.
Yeah. Will that be able to be? I don't want to get into the weeds of this, but can that be then overturned again by the Supreme Court?
Hypothetically, the Supreme Court could turn over whatever they want. There are 9 unelected wizards who have black robes and just decide things.
Dark
we still have wizards. I don't know why in society we've decided that we need 9 wizards who
Legal
hide
wizards.
in marble. But speaking of a wizard,
ancient legal wizards.
Speaking of I would even say a grand wizard.
Yeah, a few of them.
Yeah,
definitely a few of them. Lots in Congress, definitely the majority on the bench.
So solid 8 out of 10 on the transition. But speaking of grand wizards, Kanye.
Oh yeah, the America's newest grand wizard. I guess.
Yeah,
God Almighty.
Now Nazi, now in black.
Nazi, now in black. God damn. Yeah, right. I was reading something earlier, just how internalized white supremacy can be, even the black community, the Jewish community, all these traditionally. I mean,
Candace Owens was a personal example. This before.
Oh wow.
There were conservative Jews that worked with the Nazi Empire and regime during the 40s. Certainly, just because you are of a community that will be targeted by fascists does not mean you will not work alongside them, and does not mean you can't be brainwashed by them, which appears to be what's happened to Kanye. I think he's truly been brainwashed by some white people.
Was there I would like to know from any of his friends, was there any signs of this for years? Jay-Z has known him for fucking forever. Did he see any hey Kanye, what's the deal with Mein Kampf on your bedside table?
I think he tried to name an album Hitler in 2018 or 2019.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and his producers and record labels were like, no. I mean, something happened when he got born again, in quotations, right? I think he was talking to someone. He talked previously about how he had a sex addiction, and then he replaced that with Jesus, which sounds like mania to me. You just hyper-focus on something and make that your life. Yeah. It's like me and D&D. I was like, this is my life now. I like wizards and orcs. But he went, I like Hitler.
Yeah.
Please don't clip that, everyone, because I do not like Hitler.
Andrew,
let me be clear and on the record.
No. You nerd out to D&D. Kanye nerds out to Hitler.
Exactly.
For some, God.
All
damn.
the Nazis in my stories lose.
And then
I
showing
will
up,
fudge the dice rolls.
Yeah, absolutely. Nazis don't get to win in fantasies, unless it's written by Bill Barr or his dad. He wrote a weird pedophile Nazi fantasy, or eugenics pedophile fantasy. It's true story. Google Paul, or was it Bill Barr's dad sci-fi book? And don't go too far down a rabbit hole, especially at work.
Before we go down a rabbit hole talking about Bill Barr's Nazi pedophile dad. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Kanye. He got invited on multiple right-wing podcasts, right?
Yeah.
So
Alex Jones even tried to talk his ass down. He's like, are you sure about this?
When Alex Jones is the voice of reason in a room, you have
fucked up.
When I'm doing fuck, marry, kill, and Alex Jones is the Mary, we're in a bad situation. Yeah. It's a very bad situation.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, what blew my mind too is one, I had never heard of this person before. But when Kanye went to dinner with Donnie out at Mar-a-Lago, he brought along.
Feels like months ago now.
Yeah. It wasn't. It was a couple weeks ago. It's so insane.
As we age, the news, it used to be every 3 or 4 days I'd be like, man, there's nothing in the news. I'm so bored.
Oh, I know.
You know, like, and because I was always a political nerd with you and like talking about this stuff on a coffee shop porch when we were in our 20s. And I was like, there's nothing like going on. Like, it's so boring. Now, like every 3 days, like Twitter explodes or like some climate change disaster happens or like terrorists shoot up, some domestic terrorists shoot up like some power stations. And I'm like, oh, this is just the apocalypse. Like, we're just living in a dystopia.
Well, and that's kind of what I'm halfway worried about. The Civil War has already started, and it's just a bunch of random domestic terror attacks. But like, it seems like that's the case. But no, what I was saying is like when they got invited to Mar-a-Lago, like he brought Nick Fuentes, Kanye did, and Trump tried to use the excuse of, oh, I didn't know he was. I didn't know he was coming. And it was like, the Secret Service, you still have them. They vet and know exactly who the fuck is coming to see you, no matter fucking what. I mean, maybe he's got it super lax there and truly didn't know, but he keeps doubling down and inviting more Nazis and Pizzagate people.
Do you think he reads the reports the Secret Service hands him?
Well, no, it's just, shit. You have a good point on that.
Do you think he reads anything?
No,
like, I'm sure the Secret Service has to be like,
requires him
Mr.
to
President,
read.
Mr. President, you are not allowed to eat KFC in your pajamas outside the walls of Mar-a-Lago. And he's like, I love it. I love the KFC, don't we, folks? So good. I mean, like, there is... whether or not he knew Fuentes was there, like, he's dog whistled to Nazis before.
No, 100% all the time.
Base.
He's still doing it. He just had a Pizzagate person show up and have dinner there who's, I heard it today that her movie or something is banned on Twitch, YouTube, all these other services, and PayPal. I'm like, you can watch things on PayPal? What?
Hey, Kanye tell you why that is. Kanye will let
you. The Jews, probably, according to Kanye, or not enough of them, or I don't know. How does he feel about every... God, man, I don't want to spend.
I don't know, but
him.
he went on. First, he met with Trump, and then he went on. Alex Jones was second. There was an interview he did before. Oh, Tim Pool. He went on Tim Pool and walked off like 30 seconds in because Tim Pool was like, "I don't believe that Jews control the media."
Yeah.
And immediately Kanye walked off. This is after he met with Trump. And he had a couple other interviews that he didn't say. He said anti-Semitic and horrible things, but like didn't straight up say like I'm a Nazi. And then he went on Alex Jones, and Alex Jones was trying to, like you were saying, trying to get him to do the typical far right thing of using dog whistles.
Sure.
You know, I don't want to. You don't like Nazis because they're Nazis. You like them because of the uniforms, right? You're a fashion guy. And Kanye was like, no, I like them because they're Nazis. But I mean, he was trying to get Kanye to phrase it in a more appropriate way that the far right base could repeat at the bar as like, Joe Schmo. Because if you said that shit at like, if you were working at like fucking Olive Garden and you were a waiter and you said that shit, you would get fired.
Oh, 100%.
Like, I would fire someone as a manager if they started spouting off anti-Semitic shit. Yeah. So, I mean, like, I think that the right is trying to use him as like a famous black figure in American pop culture. And they want to keep, because they were adoring him until he started doing the full Nazi stuff. Like Ben Shapiro was defending him, who's now turned against him, and Trump, of course, loved him.
Why did Ben go?
What changed? Do you think for Benny Boy?
With Ben?
What changed? I think he probably just hit his head.
Until it's outright
I
said.
assume that Ben Shapiro wakes up in a middle school locker randomly at any given time, and he probably hit his head the last time, like some 80s nerds from a movie threw him in a fucking locker.
Dude.
But yeah, I mean, Kanye went full Nazi. That sucks. Guess I can't listen to Graduation anymore.
Yeah, I liked that.
Got to go through Spotify and get rid of like 8 songs that I haven't done yet. That's my bad. That just reminded me. But yeah, I mean, what's to say about that other than I was impressed that people actually were still disgusted by it in the crazy times we live in. But I was also very underwhelmed by the response from the Republican Party. It took them like 2 months after they tweeted this, like the Senate Judiciary, GOP
Elon
Judiciary Twitter, which is run by Jim Jordan, I believe. It took him 2 months to delete a tweet that was like, the Republican Party is Elon, Kanye, Trump.
Yeah.
And, you know, that speaks to that, is that they were perfectly fine to use him and have him spout anti-black, anti-gay, anti-trans, anti-women rhetoric. But the moment he said the thing we're all supposed to not admit about the right, which is that the Nazis were a far-right fascist party.
Yeah.
And
They
he's
weren't
like,
left.
yeah, I want to go one step further. I want to institute a Christian nationalist, but, you know, socialist for the people that are right-wing, like almost like a national socialist party. Everyone was like, not allowed to say that out loud. And they have tried for weeks to get him to reorient. And
Good Lord.
I think that that's not going to happen. So
No.
Kanye versus Trump, I guess, in the primary. And
that's
you know what?
right.
I'm going to eat some popcorn.
Fun fact, which I don't know how this wasn't mentioned, that Kanye suggested that Donald should be his vice presidential running mate.
That is
Donald,
a power move.
Yeah,
I've
Donald
never
flipped
looked
the
at a former
fuck-
president and said, will you be my vice president? But
yeah, he flipped the fuck out, needless to say. Kanye also, that's via Kanye and people there. I don't know what this other guy I'm about to mention did, but I'm only just going to say his name one more time. You're going to hear a clip, and then that's all you need to know about this person. His name is Nick Fuentes.
Sorry, I in my mouth.
Yeah.
What, people calling me gay because I've never had a girlfriend? I think if anything, it makes me less gay. If anything, it makes me not gay. As opposed to less gay. Not that there's any gay, but it makes me not gay. Well, because think about it this way. You know, gay people do date girls all the time. Real. And when I said on Elijah Schaefer's show, when they said, have you ever been in a romantic relationship? Have you ever had sex with a girl? And I said, no. If you name searched me on Twitter, as I always do, all these gay people are coming out and saying, I've had more girlfriends than Nick. I've had sex with more girls than Nick. So like I said last week, not only is that thinking flawed, but actually it's the reverse. That actually makes me really more heterosexual than anybody. If we're really being honest, never having a girlfriend, never having sex with a woman really makes you more heterosexual, because honestly, dating women is gay. Having sex with women is gay.
So that was Nick Fuentes, the last time I'll ever say his name.
Is it gay to have sex with women, Tim? You didn't answer the question.
I mean, if it is, I'm gay as a, I don't know, a gay guy.
Clip that. All right.
But not Nazi little fuck aside too. Lots of Nazis have been being taken down, which has been quite nice. One, Marjorie Taylor Greene denounced Kanye, lost a bunch of Nazi support, so she's probably not going to have...
Didn't she go to a Nick Fuentes rant?
Oh, she did. Yeah,
that's weird.
Good old picture of her with Nick Fuentes there, giving a hug, I think.
At his like incel club? I don't know what it was.
I think
it was like
so, yes.
incel pack. Like it was like CPAC, but for people
who
have never felt the touch of a woman.
Is it really an incel pack that they had a woman there in the first place? Like, I mean,
no, I think it's a far right like Nazi pack.
Yeah, I was like,
but
wow,
he is a open admitted incel.
Yeah,
so
I mean, you just heard it on the clip, folks. So yeah, I look forward to maybe her not winning again. Same with Lauren Boebert. She almost lost her midterm by like literally 100 votes. She won.
The Democratic Party should pump the same. They should run the same candidate and pump double as much as money into that.
Absolutely.
And should put double the organizers on the ground knocking doors, because 100%. They could win that race.
100%. But as far as another Nazi that's lost all their friends, not really. I don't think he had any friends in the first place. The head of the Proud Boys got convicted of was it sedition and is going to fucking jail. And his wife said that was the first time he's ever first time he's ever faced consequences in his life. I'm like, well, Sounds about white, but good. Proud Boy guy is gone. And fun fact, his little eye patch, if you Google him, he shot himself in his own eye. It's not a
Dude,
cool
really?
thing. Yeah, that's where his eye. That's the reason he was cleaning his gun, and I think it went off in his eye. So that's why he has that super cool pirate rebel eye.
See, like
patch.
sometimes I go from like 95% agnostic to 90% agnostic, and like 5% more of me thinks there's someone up there who's actively intervening in our lives. And that's one of those stories where I'm like, he shot himself in the fucking face.
Shot himself in the face. Yeah.
I mean, not good. Violence is bad, but also it's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, violence is bad, but I would say mistakes aren't learning. They're learning opportunities.
Is it violence if you accidentally shoot yourself?
Or is that just call it a learning opportunity? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's oopsie doopsie. Yeah, I think that's a legal term.
Put in my notebook, don't have loaded gun while cleaning.
Yeah. Like any responsible gun owner, I would say, would know. Not him. No.
We need more of these people to have guns.
Yeah. And then one more, just to pile on, though, what I wanted to, this is my point of why I think, Trumpism isn't gone. Definitely not. But it's the fact that I think the party's turning on him because every candidate, including Raphael Warnock, wrong one. Herschel Walker lost. Warnock won. It's the W's, man. God, I was getting them
their names are
forever.
Too close.
Way too close. And dude, I wonder if that was some of the votes.
Now, if you listen to them speak,
up.
You can immediately hear the difference.
Oh, yeah.
Because one of them has his brain still actively working and is an intelligent human being.
And the other one
empathy.
is debating the difference between werewolves
Herschel
and
Walker.
vampires. Yeah. He's dating the difference between werewolves and vampires. Objectively, just going to say for the record, vampires are better. What the fuck is your problem? He wanted to be a werewolf because they can kill a vampire? Okay.
This is your nerdy co-host coming out, but it depends on the verse. All right?
Okay, yes. There's lycanthropes, there's lycans. Yes.
I mean, if I'm in Underworld, I'm going to go hybrid vampire werewolf.
Yeah.
because that's apparently the best.
Yeah, what's his name? The guy, spoiler alert for that 20-year-old movie, the love interest turns out to be both. I think, or he turns into a vampire at the end too.
That was the height
of Rule.
Early 2000 culture. Yeah, we didn't realize it at the time, but that was it. That was what we should have given the Oscars to.
Yeah, we should have been you know what, Kate Beckinsale, all of the Oscars. Let's do it, man. Also, it wasn't not Ray Fiennes. Who doesn't matter. Oh, Bill Nye. Yeah, he was one of the vampires. Not the British guy, not the scientist.
Nahai.
Nahai. Yeah, whatever. This is an American show, not a British show.
Is Trump done? I mean, first off, how many times have we heard, said?
I understand.
Thought,
I understand that. It's just
Donald
more of that.
Trump is done this time. We got him, folks. We got him.
I don't think he's done. It's just I'm going off of one thing. I watched Fox News the past couple of days in clips. Not God, I can't actually just sit.
I was about to say, were you strapped down to a chair with your eyelids held open?
In the DMV. No, I don't think they showed that in the DMV.
More catheter commercials.
Yeah. Please give me more catheter commercials.
Reverse mortgage.
Belvita. Oh my God. No. I actually like Belvita. But no. It was Laura Ingraham and Kelly Ann Conway basically saying something along the lines of, well, someone was demonizing mail-in ballots and early voting, saying it wasn't good. And, you know, I think that's our downfall here. We needed that. And Kelly's like, well, I didn't do it. And Laura's like, I didn't. I'm like, but you both supported the man who did. And then that British Fox News guy, I don't remember his name. He's really old. But went off and said
the
Trump,
one who talks like this.
Yeah, that guy. He sounds like a fucking he's on safari and about to he colonize something.
No. He sounds exactly like the propaganda minister in V for Vendetta.
Yeah.
His voice and cadence is the exact same.
Oh God, yeah. Britain first, or whatever that shit's called, which is basically America first.
America first.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Like Germany first. It's crazy.
But yeah, he went off and said Trump was a curse to our party. Every single candidate lost, which they did. They didn't lose by much. But people toe the party line, and look at Georgia, where people voted for Brian Kemp, a guy who went against Trump. and then didn't really go for Herschel Walker. Like I was listening to Axios earlier today, and they were saying something along the lines of that there was a Trump tax on all of this, where everybody collectively kind of lost by 5% if they were, or 5 percentage points if they were endorsed by him. And it is almost clear across the board, especially with Walker and Brian Kemp. Brian Kemp won by he was 57 or something like that. Herschel Walker, 50 or less than that, 48.4 or something like that.
I don't know, man. I think that it varies race to race, but
sure.
I think the Republicans are trying to act like Donald Trump is the beginning of their problems when they have been pushing away the middle and the left for 40 years. You know, like there are no more liberal conservatives. There are no more liberal Republicans. So like
some of them voted for the Defense Against Marriage, or not Defense Against, that's the that's
12
the shitty 90s one.
Out of
the
like
new one.
118. Yeah, like 12 of them.
Yeah. So there's some, and that's what worries me, is that they're going to start bringing, now that Trump could potentially be gone, are they going to start pulling those people back if they stop having Trump as their main guy? No,
because the reason Trump isn't done is the same reason they won't pull back from these policies, and that is their base supports it.
Right.
Their base support, no matter what elite talking heads on MSNBC, Fox, and CNN are saying that are Republicans that are, well, you know, I worked for George Bush, a real hero who only committed genocide once against the Iraqi
one
people.
time.
Just one time.
2 different countries, but just the one time.
They count together. It's one war, one genocide.
That sounds like a really bad slogan.
I mean, like it's the Republican idea.
One
They're
war,
all
one genocide.
People. It's
George
the same
Bush.
thing. Yeah, one war, one genocide. Vote Jeb.
Vote Jeb. I won't do genocide that bad.
Yeah,
Jeb.
I'm cooler than my brother. Promise. Give me all the power.
Is he though?
No.
I was gonna say,
can't even win.
If I had a gun to my head pick, I mean, yeah, George.
I'm not going to take that bet. That hypothetical is not going to enter my head. I think that as long as the average Joe that votes in a Republican primary believes that, you know, CRT is indoctrinating their kids and thinks that Hollywood elites run pedophile rings underneath pizza companies, specifically only liberals, you know, for some reason. They don't really care about Donald Trump going to like an island for pedophiles. But
no, he didn't do that. They were just, you know, they were just, you know, look at that over there.
I love Jeffrey. What a friend.
Hugging and everything.
I think that as long as they think that the Democratic Party is, you know, using adrenochrome and that vaccines are lies, like these are all Republican policies that you have to support. Like you have to be anti-immigration at this point. Like you have to be lower taxes for corporations. Like there's so many policies that are so deeply unpopular with both the left and the middle that it wouldn't matter if it was Trump or Ron DeSantis trying to
Ron DeSanctimonious.
He's got to get something better than that. Sanctimonious
it's
is
not
too
a
many.
Good name. It's a bad. It's lazy. Like objectively, come on, man, you're better.
You should call him Rhonda. Rhonda.
Oh yeah. I should do just Rhonda.
He'll come up with something. I mean, that's the one thing he's good at. I'll give him credit where credit's due. Like the man can make up a middle school nickname.
Oh, absolutely. So. He's the best middle school bully. If I could, if he was just like, if you were younger and then like, I would hire you to be my middle school bully in a movie. Like, yeah, you're perfect.
What's insane is like, whether it was the Super Mario Brothers movie or like the Back to the Future series, like people literally wrote villains based off him in the 80s and 90s.
Which Mario Brothers one? Oh, the guy. Oh, yeah. What's his name? Yeah, Koopa was the Mario. Oh, shit, dude. He was.
He's based off Trump.
Oh, that movie's hard
so
to watch.
So is Biff. Biff is like a direct.
Oh, yeah. Biff is. The director said
Trump.
That. Straight up said that about him.
I mean, and every 80s slicked back hair, like New Yorker who's showing up to the small ski town. You know what I mean? Like it was such a trope.
Page about how 5 children didn't do it or did a crime that they didn't do.
And then he does one reality TV show that gets the hogs into it, and like all of a sudden he's president. I'm still amazed. But I don't
Herschel
think that
Walker, by the way, was on Apprentice. I didn't know. I've been trying to rack my brain around why.
That's how they know each other.
Why did he pick this man? How did you know this man? I mean, I know he was a football player, but he's not a famous one.
Because
kind of.
Trump went famous guy from Georgia, was a football player.
Lives
He'll
in
win.
Dallas.
Easy win. Yeah.
You live closer to Herschel Walker than Georgia does.
Donald Trump is, dare I say, charismatic. Like, he's not charming 100%. To me,
yeah.
But to his people. But he is not good at picking other candidates. Like, demonstrated by the fact that he picked Mike Pence, that I don't think added one vote.
Man, I didn't understand that one either. Like,
he was trying to secure up evangelicals, but I think he already had evangelicals because they'll vote for anybody who says they'll ban abortion. So, and the Muslim ban and all that kind of stuff.
He tried. So, I mean, what's his name from Ohio too? That was one of my favorite stories.
Porter?
No, his name is John Kasich. He's got that podcast with Jordan Klepper. He's the only Republican halfway worth a damn. But I don't even call him a Republican anymore. But
I mean, I would argue that he's
a
Reagan
Republican
at this point.
But he's definitely an independent. But no,
he doesn't hate gay people. He just wants to give the top 1% even more the money.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, sure. One of my favorite
fiscal violence only.
One of my favorite stories was Kasich saying he was being interviewed by the Trump kids to be vice president. And then it was Don and Eric, and I can envision it in my head, and I invite you to close your eyes, everyone, with me, and listen.
Closing my eyes.
He is sitting at a table with the two of them, and Don Jr. says, he goes, so what is my role going to be as vice president? Because they usually have like a thing they're going to do. And Don Jr. says, well, you're going to be doing foreign policy. You're going to be doing the economy. You're going to be doing domestic policy. You're going to be doing transportation. Just starts listing off all these things. He goes, that's
and then he took a bump, and he was like,
right.
All right. And then I got 8 more things we want you to do.
And then he goes, so what's the President Trump or President-elect Trump going to do? Eric goes, he's going to make America great again. And I'm like, oh, that he's like, and at that I was out. Like,
yeah, he's a mascot. That's all he ever wanted
to
do. That's all he ever wanted. He wanted to make money and be America's mascot, which is what, by the way, the president really should be. If I were remaking the Constitution, is like the much like Britain, like prime minister,
like a royal,
we would make the president more of like the ultimate diplomat and send him places as a mascot to talk. While a cabinet actually decided what we did. But yeah, I mean, he wanted to be the mascot. He wanted the parades and to shake world leaders' hands and to be at the parties and the respect that it brings. And too bad he was, well, not too bad, I guess.
Not
I don't
too bad
know.
at all.
I mean, like he was very bad at the job, and so he didn't get a lot of that respect. And he was crude. I think that a lot of the media, both left and right, just didn't like the fact that he was crude and rude and said bad words.
Did you think it helped him at all with because one of I know he just was on doing a really weird video where he was shot far away and he looked short for in it. It was really weird.
Kind of leaning in, the crotch first, that Trump stance.
Yeah, and he was in his his vacation golf gear, but behind him is a picture of him shaking Kim Jong-un's Un? Yeah, his dad was the one.
Il was his father, and saw him with his grandfather.
And he was shaking their hands. Like, did working with dictators like that help him with the
he
GOP?
idolizes them.
Like, I know he idolizes them, but with the general GOP, do they really like the Korean strongman? Really?
Yes, far right people like authoritarian. Strong.
I mean, I'm asking Mitt Romney. Did it help with people like Mitt Romney?
No.
Did it help people like with any? What is a normal Republican these days? Susan Collins.
There is none. There is none because Susan Collins voted with Donald Trump 80% of the time, something like that. Like Mitt Romney did over 78% of the time. Like they can act. There is no difference between them except that Donald Trump says the quiet part out loud. Like. Donald Trump says, like, we got to ban Muslims instead of saying, like, there's a threat to national security and we're going to install a Patriot Act.
Right.
Where, like, Donald Trump comes out and says the quiet part out loud and they don't like that. And, I mean, he still passed tax cuts for the wealthy.
Yeah. He was their Herschel Walker. He was their dumb guy that's like, you need to do this. And he's like,
and they thought they could use him.
And I get that. I just... Maybe I can't. I guess that answered my question. It was like because he did the Muslim ban, within like the first 10 days, and like every airport was just like flooded with protesters.
The airport thing, I forgot about that.
Oh yeah. And
I mean,
they
like,
sent lawyers to the airports to try and get people. Like I knew someone that couldn't get in.
We can talk about Trump fiascos for those 4 years. I
For-
mean, like
forever.
all day. Yeah,
I'm just
I
wondering,
mean, like
like-
you and I can do that off record time.
Yeah.
But I mean, I will say to you, like, is Trump done? Trump won the primary the first time with every single establishment Republican against him.
Yeah.
Every single person who now is saying, well, this is Trump's fault, probably should ditch him, was against him 7 years ago.
Yeah, they were. Like, but does he have the clout to really, like, because again, so many people voted against him. If they have DeSantis or they have Nikki Haley.
He has the same problem that every one of these crazy right-wingers do, is that he wins in primaries and is a burden in the general. Because the fact is the Republican Party is radicalized.
Right.
I wish the Democratic Party was radicalized. It is not. It is a center-right party.
Oh, for sure.
But the Republican Party is a far-right, semi-fascistic party.
Yeah.
And they are only moving to the right every year.
But you don't think that the establishment won't try everything to make him go away? Yeah, they'll try. How can they not be successful with? There are, I mean, like
who's going to challenge him in a primary?
Nikki Haley. I think she could easily beat him in a primary.
I disagree.
She is.
I think Donald Trump will get up there and be like, little Nikki supported the war in Iraq. Little Nikki over here acting like she's loud. She's just the next hill dog, folks. She's the Republican Hillary. If we elect her, we're done.
I think Nikki Haley just lost the primary just based off your impression, honestly. Like, I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. That's God, I know I'm too optimistic sometimes.
He's the better user of media. He's the better and
he
didn't
spend any money or something like that on media in 2016.
Money.
Well, he made if anything, he made money. He got it was like $1 billion in free airtime just from all news outlets, especially Fox, obviously. But like he paid for almost zero airtime. Yeah,
he knows what he's doing. Like he knows how to win the popular game. Now, I think after his presidency, and because a lot of why he won in the first place, I think is a lot of people were like, we got to try something new, and he's an outsider. They bought into that thought, even though he's been a New York billionaire who schmoozed with politicians his whole life and is definitely not an outsider. They believe that line.
If anything, I would have called him a Democrat before he started running.
I mean,
he donates to him so heavily. I'd say he's an opportunist.
He says whatever he thinks is popular.
Yeah, sure.
Now he's kind of checked in that Republican box. Don't get me wrong.
100%.
I think that this is still Trump's party. I think the majority of the base will still vote for him. I think they will give him credit where he doesn't deserve. Almost 70% of Republicans think 2020 was rigged when you poll them.
70%? God damn.
It's upwards of 70%.
Wow. That, huh?
Think that 2020 was rigged in some way, right? So if that's the case, that means 70% of the base supports him.
Yeah,
straight
up. Well,
I especially after a debate stage, especially with the amount of money that he'll be able to raise and put into these races. Like if he really wants to spend his own money, I don't think he will, but he might. I mean, how desperate is he to avoid prosecution? How desperate is he to say that he's a two-term president? How brave are some of these Republicans? Nikki Haley goes against him. Okay, well he knocks her out like he did Ted Cruz last time. Who's left? Pence, Kanye.
Oh yeah, I know. Kanye. As stupid as I'm about to sound, if Trump did it, Kanye's also super goddamn popular. Maybe he won't get there, but
Kanye can't survive an interview for 30 seconds with pushback.
No, yeah, you can't. Well, does
Donald
he have
Trump
to do interviews?
Will just not answer the question.
Yeah,
he'll just
Kanye not answer the.
My favorite Bible verse: 2 Corinthians. The Corinthians are the best. Damn. Both of the Corinthians. I once had 2 twins.
That's the one you like, right?
God. Yeah.
Oh my God. At least Pence, I definitely don't think that guy stands a chance. I think he's silly to even try. I don't think he was even qualified to be vice president. Wasn't he a radio show host?
If Xanax was invented, if Xanax was invented by Gilead scientists and then turned into a human being, it would be Mike Pence. He's the most fucking boring, milk toast right wing theocratic fascist that I've
Oh,
ever
milk
seen in
toast
my
is
life.
only for the weekends when, things are going to get
Yeah.
fun.
When mother makes
When
it.
mother makes milk toast.
When mother says I'm allowed to be in the room with her.
I wish I knew what milk toast was. I don't want to get into it nor Google it because it feels like it's going to gross me
once
out.
again, okay, Alexa, that's all a Horse Girls episode right there.
Yeah.
The origins of milk toast.
All right. Well, we've talked about them all to death, and I want to get to our final good thing. That's kind of a good thing, but I see you written on our notes the bummer follow-up.
It's my job. It's my job. I'm the bummer follow-up every time.
After facing almost a 9-month sentence for the most minute amount of weed oil in a cartridge she forgot in her bag while entering the country of Russia, Brittany Griner is out of jail and is home now. She just landed this morning, I think. And if you didn't know her, she was a WNBA star, accidentally forgot her weed cartridge. Russia sent her off to a work camp, gulag, whatever you want to call them. I think it's just Russian for prison. Isn't it just Russian for prison? I thought someone told me that at one point. I was like, I'm not going to Google that.
I mean, I don't speak Russian. I wouldn't be surprised if it is.
Yet at all?
No, I play a Russian turtle in D&D game.
There
but
you
this
go.
is the best I do.
But what's your bummer follow-up to this wonderful person coming home to her wife? Sleeping in a bed
very happy
tonight.
that Brittany Griner is home. It should have been done earlier. I would have given up the inspiration for Lord of War, which is who we traded for her earlier.
Yeah. He's the inspiration for the Nick Cage
for
movie?
Nicolas Cage's character in Lord of War. The person
that
we traded
movie's
for Brittany
fucking
Griner,
awesome. It's a fucked up movie, but yeah, definitely watch that.
I recommend it highly. The arms trade is an original human sin, and we should stop it.
Yes, 100%.
That being said, I'm really glad that somebody who shouldn't have ever been prosecuted and was used as a political pawn is coming home and not having to stay in prison in horrible, harsh conditions. So let's talk about a few other people that might be in prison for weed and stupid little amounts and not doing anything besides, trying to smoke an herb that people have tried to smoke for thousands of years and makes you giggle at cartoons at 3 a.m. As of January 2022, there were 153,079 offenders incarcerated by the Bureau of Prisons. So federal prisons. This does not include state prisons. Of those offenders, 134,757 are serving a sentence for federal conviction, most commonly for small drug offenses. 63,994 people now languish in prisons, their lives destroyed because they had a little bit of drugs on them.
Yep.
And Brittany Griner, because she was used by the Russians, luckily, as should have been done, is saved by the American government. But it is time for our representatives, for our president, to let these people out and expunge their records and legalize marijuana at least. At least. If not, start mental health programs for addiction all around this country under something like a Medicare for All bill. I am shocked that... I'm not shocked. I am disheartened that this many people I know are sitting in a box somewhere without access to sunlight and food they want to eat and their loved ones because they had a little bit of drugs on them and they got caught by a cop.
Yeah.
And what they really needed was either help or to be left the fuck alone in the first place.
And meanwhile, Nick Lachey, one of the weed barons of Ohio. Him and like 5 guys on a huge medical weed thing there. And then a bunch of other white people own a bunch of weed places
out of the
all over
Nicks
the
we've
country.
discussed today, out of all the Nicks we've discussed today, I would rather just pass the blunt to Nick Chalet than I would any Nick that we've discussed earlier.
I mean, 98 Degrees really had it. They really did.
Is it gay to have sex with women, everybody? That's the thought I want to leave you with.
That's the thought we should leave on. And you know what? If you're also fucking pissed off at Congress about the weed laws and any other not fair law, call 202-224-3121 and tell your congressperson to, maybe get to work changing those laws. 202
Call to action.
202-224-3121 for Congress. And if you'd like to call and complain to us, well, you can. You can call us directly at 682-382-1023, 682-382-1023, or go to our social media accounts at America the Conversation on Instagram. We're not going to do Twitter until, that's fixed, because I don't have it in me, especially when he's, one, no longer the richest person in the world because of all this. Two, he tried to release the Twitter papers, quote unquote, that were supposed to show liberal bias.
You can't start
it is
this
another
right
podcast. I'm just going to say it real fast. Turned out all it was a bunch of dick pics from Hunter Biden that they wanted removed, which is kind of the law. And
just
even the
looks cool.
Republicans.
He just looks cool when he's getting laid and smoking a crack pipe. That looks cool.
Yeah. And all of the Republicans said, this is bullshit. I thought we were going to get more out of this. And now they've turned on him too. So there's our actual happy ending. But also tons of people are in prison for bullshit reasons.
Also, give us $8 and we'll send you a blue check mark.
No, now it's different levels. There's
oh my God. Next podcast, Tim.
Anyways, that's on the next show. No, maybe it's on the next episode. I don't remember what the next episode is yet. But thanks for listening, everybody. Follow us on social media. You can find those links in our description. Tell everyone about this show and be a part of the conversation. If you're American or if you're otherwise, if you're abroad, be a part of our conversation. We're all humans. Borders are dumb. And that's it. Goodbye.
Bye.
Fucking hate borders. Borders books and borders around America.
America the Conversation is a production of America the Podcast and Shway Media. The creators and hosts of America the Conversation are Tim Phillippe and Andrew K. Turner. The show is mixed and edited by Tim Phillippe at Shway Media Studios. The show's theme song is by Timmy Two Step, and all other music and sounds heard in this show were procured through the amazing companies listed in the show notes. For more information, please visit americatheconversation.com.
This has been a production of Shway Media, all rights reserved. For more information, please visit shwaymedia.com.